Needs and wants are distinct, with needs essential for existence and wants being desires. Often, we mistake wants for needs, yet strong desires are driven by ego, aiming to fill a perceived void. However, depending on external things for completeness perpetuates a state of lack. When focused solely on wants, the feeling of incompleteness persists, as desires are endless. By prioritizing needs, life becomes simpler and more fulfilling because needs are fewer. This doesn't mean abandoning desires, but recognizing that dependency on them disempowers. True freedom comes from independence, from not relying on anything outside of yourself. Ask yourself, do I truly need this, or is it just a want? If it's optional, reflect on the root of the desire. By clearly distinguishing between needs and wants, you prevent neglecting what's truly essential. Focusing too much on outcomes can create subtle expectations, pulling you away from the flow of the process. Like running a marathon, staring at the finish line won't get you there faster. It's the steps along the way that count. Joy comes from experiencing the process, allowing the outcome to unfold naturally. Insistence creates resistance, much like starting and stopping disrupts the flow of driving. Relax, knowing you'll reach your destination without being fixated on how it will happen. Stay aligned with your intention and desire, but avoid attachment to the outcome, which only delays progress. Your initial intention fuels the journey. Being in the flow brings it to life. Redemption stems from forgiveness. It's never too late to choose love, because the present moment is all you have. To begin redemption is to start in the now, asking yourself, if not now, when? All past and future thoughts are mental projections happening in the present. You can't run a marathon by just thinking about it. You must move. Transmuting disharmony into harmony begins with letting go of the past and creating the future you desire now. Attachment to the past traps you in cycles, repeating history. To break free, choose differently in the present. Affirm to yourself, I forgive myself right now. What's done is done. I release it and create a better future for my highest self. Think of yourself in terms of versions. The current version is always right now, and past versions no longer exist. If others hold on to perceptions of your previous selves, that's their burden, not yours, as you remain here in the present. The key is not in doing, but in being. Rather than asking, what can I do? Ask, how can I be? Every moment offers a choice in your state of being. You don't need to suffer, panic, or fear. You can choose to be calm, composed, and present. Thoughts may trigger emotional states, but you can always neutralize them by being in the moment. The mind is just a tool. What you truly are is the sentience guiding it. You can set the mind aside when it's not needed, letting it serve you rather than dominate you. Triggers reveal attachments. A disharmonious reaction is an opportunity to practice detachment, dissolving the ego's grip. When all conditions for love are removed, only unconditional love remains. The ego thrives on labels and identifications such as I am and, yet these identifications obscure your true self. Liberation comes from being, not thinking. Remaining present allows you to operate as your authentic self. Irritations will arise, but what matters is recognizing when you've strayed from presence and returning to it. Growth is ongoing, with no final destination. You exist beyond thoughts, sensations, feelings, and emotions. The ego runs on limiting programs, unable to comprehend what lies beyond its conditioning. By acknowledging that I know nothing, you transcend the ego's limitations. As with any skill, practice strengthens presence. Meditate regularly, shifting your focus from productivity to how present you are throughout the day. The more you practice, the more the conditioned egoic mind dissolves, revealing your true nature. Our natural state is unconditioned. Children embody this unconditioned nature, full of joy and curiosity before society imposes its concepts and ideologies. Reclaiming this childlike nature, coupled with wisdom, allows for a life of joy and deeper self-understanding. The higher self desires experiences to know itself, and the soul is a smaller expression of this self-awareness. As the soul draws in more of its true essence, it expands and evolves. From the human perspective, the ego immerses itself in experiences, much like putting on a VR headset. Yet what you truly are remains untouched, perceiving this immersion as real only because of the ego's lens. Once the game ends, you return to your true reality. Recognizing what you are beyond the ego and body leads to a state of pure awareness. Being arises when thinking and doing recede into the background. Are you trying to be yourself, or simply being yourself? The key is in being, not trying. Presence is felt through being, which is effortless. Peace comes not from doing, but from simply being. Let go of the mindset that you must always do something. This creates unnecessary resistance. Peace is unconditional. No matter what happens, you can always fall back on just being. In meditation, you achieve stillness and peace without action. Fears stem from thoughts and judgments, but by removing these thoughts, fear vanishes. You can observe bodily sensations or thoughts without judgment, allowing them to pass without becoming attached. Practice switching between thinking and presence, learning to turn the mind on and off. With practice, your true self will override the false self, allowing you to remain in a state of conscious awareness, free from egoic domination. Your needs are always met, otherwise you wouldn't exist. Expand your understanding of needs. From a higher perspective, every event is a lesson necessary for spiritual growth. The ego may resist, but resistance highlights areas that need growth. Signs of disharmony signal misalignment with your true nature. Pay attention to disturbances as they indicate where shadows remain. By enlightening these shadows, you align with a state of peace, fearlessness, and harmony. People-pleasing stems from a lack of self-love. Instead of reacting to external circumstances, focus inward, becoming a creator of your life rather than a consumer. The outer world reflects your inner state, and true change begins within. Are you configuring the reflection or addressing the source? The outer world is a projection of the inner world. When you're self-aware, you realize everything you experience originates from within. Pay attention to where your focus lies. Is it on external distractions, or are you aware of your own presence? Be mindful of anything that induces fear, as it aims to lower your frequency. Fear serves as an evolutionary test. It's not about the idea itself, but the intention behind it. Everything is part of a divine simulation designed for growth. Stay aware of your energy and maintain a high frequency. Embrace a carefree, non-judgmental attitude to stay aligned with your true self, knowing that graduation from this earthly game is near. The physical dimension is a projection of consciousness and has no dominion over spirit, which is metaphysical, formless. In short, there's nothing to worry about. The only worry is being in a state of worry as that's operating at a lower state of consciousness, the very level that you're trying to ascend from. If you want to graduate on, then quell all disharmonious feelings. Remain fully present perpetually, and that will serve as sort of a balance that's gradually raising out of this world. Essentially be high all the time, which is to be at peace, joy, and unconditional love. Harboring any disharmony is what keeps the reincarnation cycle active, as that's an attachment to the lower frequencies. It's all energetic engineering behind the veil of the ego. You're simply learning how to work with your own energy and realizing what aligns with your true nature. Recognize your own awareness prior to thoughts, sensations, feelings, or emotions. That's what persists throughout. and is always here, so it's a home you can return to when lost, confused, disoriented, or overwhelmed. Simply be aware of everything and don't judge or label. Your energy will continue to be at rest when it's not being drained by stimulation. Remember, attention is energy. What you give attention to is what you're giving your energy towards, thus providing it life. If you're giving yourself attention through self-awareness, then you're giving yourself life. Your life force is your energy. This is applicable throughout your existence, which transcends this particular reality itself. Suffering is one way to grow, but isn't the only way. The higher self's intention varies depending on the outlook of the path, so the incarnation is based on the totality rather than a single one. It's not necessary to take on a challenging life plan, but only the individual would know directly by going within and tapping into their higher self. Imagine seeing your total path, which includes what your other lives are experiencing. If you had access to this, would your current incarnation have more clarity? That's your higher self, the one that can see the whole because it is the whole. By realigning with your higher self, you'll intuitively know what your purpose is, and there's no challenge too overwhelming that you can't overcome.